As to a draft agreement, there has been no draft. There was a set of issues, a list of issues to be discussed and to be deliberated and worked out. The list of possible items for an agreement was drafted and it was conveyed to us through certain channels. Then there were talks in Geneva between the United States and the Ukrainian delegation. It would not be proper for me to make any final statements right now because there is no finalized material so far. Many of the things are very general in character at this point, but we see that the United States are considering our interests. As to a draft agreement, there has been no draft. There was a set of issues, a list of issues to be discussed and to be deliberated and worked out. As I've already said, before my visit to Alaska, we discussed this with the United States and negotiating team. And after that, the list of possible items for an agreement was drafted and it was conveyed to us through certain channels. Then there were talks in Geneva between the United States and the Ukrainian delegation. As I understand, they decided between themselves that these 28 items should be divided into 4 groups. And we received the outcomes of those discussions. In general, we agree that this may become the basis for a future agreement. It would not be proper for me to make any final statements right now because there is no finalized material so far. Many of the things are very general in character at this point, but we see that the United States are considering our interests, including those that were voiced before the discussions in Anchorage. Some of the items will have to be discussed in very specific terms, have to frame things diplomatically. One thing to say that Russia is not going to attack Europe, which is really laughable for us as an idea. Of course, we could write that down as this is, but sometimes people are a bit, maybe they're a bit out of their minds, or maybe they're just trying to create some kind of an illusion for their populations. When they say that Russia is preparing to attack and they need to strengthen their defense industry, maybe they're just catering to the defense companies. Maybe they're trying to prop up their domestic political ratings, the lamentable state of their economies. But in our eyes, of course, it's just nonsense, complete lies. But if those ideas are so hyped up in the Western public consciousness, if we truly need to make a statement that we don't have any aggressive plans, then we'd be willing to do this. Maybe there is a meaning in that. If we want to sit down all together and to have a discussion. And of course there is a desire to go back to discussing these issues. Every such issue is a separate topic for discussion, for a serious one. And we're ready to discuss. Next week, the American delegation is planning to come to Moscow, meaning to say that they're strained. We're still exporting equipment, first of all, aircraft, plane and helicopters, and we did quite a lot It was a kind of a revolution in terms of UAVs. We managed to achieve breakthroughs, and we're willing to share with our partners. We still have proposals coming in about ceasing hostilities. But when the Ukrainian troops leave the areas that they're now occupying, then the hostilities will cease. And if they don't, we will make them using our firepower. The relations have developed quite positively after the visit, and Russian companies are increasingly present in the Kyrgyz market. One of the reasons for that is that the current Kyrgyz leadership is able to ensure domestic political stability, which is always very important for potential investors, because everyone hopes that the target country will be able to live up to the agreements. And the Kyrgyz leadership is excelling at this, and we wish them continued success. We wish them continued political stability, and as a member of the EU and the CSTO, they will receive our support and assistance. Our investment relations are thriving, and we also have cooperation in the mining sector and energy. Generally, Kyrgyzstan is receiving resources at minimum prices and with no customs duties, which makes our products very competitive in the Kyrgyz market, to say the least, and is very helpful for the Kyrgyz economy too. And it's not only oil and gas. We plan to build a nuclear power plants, the small-scale power plants that you mentioned. Russia is the only country in the world currently implementing such projects. There's a lot of talk from many, but we are the only ones who are actually doing it. Our colleagues from the relevant companies and agencies are constantly in touch about these projects. And we're also developing cooperation in other high-tech fields. Yandex is a company that has worked in Kyrgyzstan very actively, and I hope that this will continue. Yandex is not only food delivery and taxis, it's also one of the companies developing artificial intelligence. It's an extremely important sector which is now rapidly developing. It's important for all of us. Kyrgyzstan may not be a very big country, but it has a lot of very promising talent, young people with good education and skills. So it's very important for us to create a field here that will thrive and unlock its true potential.